Imagine a world where the cost of your morning coffee skyrockets. Your new smartphone? Twice the price. That imported car you've been eyeing? Forget about it. This isn't a dystopian future but a potential consequence of the trade war brewing in our midst, ignited by Donald Trump's aggressive tariff policies. Tariffs, essentially taxes on imported goods, disrupt the delicate balance of the global economy. The stakes are high, and the consequences, potentially catastrophic. Before delving into the complexities of the trade war, it's crucial to understand the terminology. What are tariffs, and why do they matter? In essence, tariffs are taxes imposed on goods imported from other countries. They are a tool used by governments to influence trade flows and protect domestic industries from foreign competition. Protectionism refers to a policy of shielding domestic industries from foreign competition through various measures, including tariffs, quotas, and subsidies. While often presented as a means to safeguard jobs and promote domestic growth, protectionism can have unintended consequences, such as higher prices for consumers and retaliatory measures from trading partners. In a world where supply chains are intricately intertwined, tariffs rarely impact a single industry in isolation. Instead, they ripple through the global economy, disrupting production, raising prices, and ultimately harming consumers. Donald Trump's presidency has been marked by a series of aggressive trade policies, with tariffs emerging as his weapon of choice. From the outset of his campaign, Trump railed against unfair trade practices, promising to bring back jobs and renegotiate trade deals he deemed detrimental to American interests. The opening salvo in Trump's trade war came in 2018 when he imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from key allies like Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. China, however, has been the primary target of Trump's trade aggression, accusing China of unfair trade practices, intellectual property theft, and currency manipulation. Trump has levied tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods. Despite ongoing negotiations, a resolution to the trade war remains elusive, with both sides seemingly entrenched in their positions. While the trade war is often framed as a battle between nations, the real casualties are often individual industries and consumers caught in the crossfire. These industries, ranging from manufacturing to agriculture, are facing unprecedented challenges. The steel industry, for example, initially welcomed the tariffs, expecting a surge in demand for domestically produced steel. This optimism was short-lived. However, this short-lived boom has been overshadowed by the long-term consequences of the trade war. Many steel mills are now operating below capacity. As tariffs drive up the cost of imported steel, downstream industries that rely on steel as a key input, such as manufacturing and construction, have faced significant cost increases. These industries are struggling to maintain profitability. These increased costs are then passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices, ultimately undermining the intended benefits of the tariffs. Consumers are feeling the pinch in their everyday purchases. The agricultural sector, a cornerstone of the American economy, has also been hit hard by the trade war. Farmers are finding it increasingly difficult to sell their produce. China, once a major importer of American soybeans, has sought alternative suppliers in response to the tariffs, turning to countries like Brazil and Argentina, leaving American farmers with a surplus of unsold crops and plummeting prices. This has led to financial distress for many. From farmers in the Midwest to factory workers in the Rust Belt, the consequences of this trade dispute are being felt across the American economy and beyond. The ripple effects are impacting livelihoods and communities nationwide. Trade wars, despite their ominous name, are not a new phenomenon. They have been a recurring theme in the annals of global commerce, often leading to significant economic upheaval. History is replete with examples of nations engaging in tit-for-tat tariff battles, often with disastrous consequences. These conflicts have shaped the economic landscape in profound ways. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930, widely seen as exacerbating the Great Depression, stands as a stark reminder of the potential devastation of protectionist trade policies. It led to a severe contraction in international trade. The anatomy of a trade war is deceptively simple, yet its impacts are far-reaching and complex. It typically begins with one country imposing tariffs on imports from another, often citing unfair trade practices or a need to protect domestic industries. This initial move is usually justified as a defensive measure. The targeted country, unwilling to accept what it perceives as an attack on its economic interests, retaliates with tariffs of its own. This retaliation is seen as a necessary countermeasure. This sets off a chain reaction, with each round of tariffs escalating the conflict and inflicting further damage on both economies. The cycle of retaliation can be difficult to break. The longer it continues, the greater the risk of irreparable damage to the global economy and the international order. The stakes are high and the consequences can be long-lasting. Donald Trump's tariff strategy, while presented as a bold move to protect American interests, is a double-edged sword. While there have been some short-term gains for specific industries, the overall impact on the American economy and its global standing has been largely negative. Proponents of Trump's tariffs argue that they are necessary to protect American jobs and industries from unfair foreign competition. However, these short-term gains must be weighed against the long-term consequences of the trade war. The tariffs have led to higher prices for consumers, increased costs for businesses, and disrupted supply chains across multiple industries. The agricultural sector in particular has been hit hard by retaliatory tariffs, with farmers facing plummeting prices and lost markets. The long-term consequences of this trade war, both for the American economy and the global trading system, remain to be seen. As the trade war rumbles on, a fundamental question hangs in the air. Is this a sustainable path for the global economy? The stakes are incredibly high, and the consequences of our choices will reverberate for generations. Can the world afford to retreat into protectionism, or will this lead to economic ruin? The signs of economic strain are already visible, and the pressure is mounting. The allure of protectionism is undeniable. It offers a seemingly simple solution to complex problems. It promises to shield domestic industries from foreign competition, protect jobs, and restore a sense of economic nationalism. This can be very appealing to those feeling left behind by globalization. However, this siren song masks a dangerous reality. The short-term gains may be overshadowed by long-term losses. The global economy, intricately interconnected and reliant on the free flow of goods and services, cannot function effectively within the confines of protectionism. The ripple effects can be felt far and wide. Tariffs, quotas, and other protectionist measures disrupt supply chains, increase costs for businesses and consumers, and stifle innovation. The economic landscape becomes more challenging for everyone. Dialogue, cooperation, and a commitment to a rules-based trading system are essential to resolving this trade dispute and preventing future ones. Only through collaboration can we hope to find sustainable solutions. The future of the global economy, and indeed the world, may very well depend on the decisions we make today. Our actions now will shape the economic landscape for years to come.